Hello, ladies and gentlemen of the interwebs. This is a special, not one, not two, but three videos in one. This is the Entertainment Roundup review because the topic I talk to involves the entertainment world, particularly in the YouTube entertainment world, or the I like to call the social media entertainment, which YouTube is a part of, one of the very large part of. This is also a What's News. This is a topic that deals with the current events that has recently occurred in the news that actually have to do with YouTube, as well as some of the YouTube content providers. And this is a matter of opinion. Also, my own feelings towards it, my feelings towards what's been going on involving YouTube, the community, and the policies that has recently surfaced. So there's a whole thing in one. So it's not just one podcast. It's three podcasts in one. I'm posting it on three channels, and it needs to be posted because, frankly, I wouldn't call this YouTube drama, but YouTube issues that again continue to surface time and time again. Now, I want to be very clear on this. I had no desires to do any videos until pretty much September, end of September, early October, and largely because one, I've recently moved, as people already know, and I'm actually still getting myself settled in. It's gonna be in the near future, very very soon. I'm gonna be posting live videos again instead of just regular audio. I wanted to make sure my room is well situated. I didn't want to, you just look at the four walls. I wanted to make sure that the room is nice and presentable to do a video live because I am in my own room. Thankfully, I couldn't do any live videos, largely because I was sharing a room with some others, and it was just kind of awkward being in a hallway or anything else. I got tired of doing it. I didn't want to do it anymore. And now that I got my own room and I'm situated in my own room, I want to make sure at least it looks presentable. So when I do a video, it doesn't look awkward where there's nothing on my wall. That's just a plain wall. So I gotta do a few things, little nick and tuck there. But it's gonna come along, and very soon live videos with me will be coming along. I still do live videos, but not as frequently. Like I don't really do the live videos on the cafes as much as I used to, unless I'm doing a podcast. And but in general, when I want to do a live pre-recording, I like to do it where you can see my face again and you can hear me talk. With that being said, I really wasn't going to do too much vlogging, which is something that I do a lot as a hobby. I want to keep it a main course, hobby. But again, my partner of J&J Mondays had brought up something to me that I did not know, largely because I wasn't in the loop. And for the just to be clear on certain things here, what I found out about it, I basically was making family a fun joke, jokingly saying, "So how's your vacation from YouTube?" And she responded about the friendly advertising policy, and I was like wondering what the hell was that. I didn't know what it was. And I had a feeling it would have to do with YouTube, which it was. And I texted her back and I said, "What was that?" And she pretty much explained that YouTube is pretty much cutting, you know, monetization for those videos that was not deemed friendly. And we went back and forth about it. She explained that Phil DeFranco, which is a very popular YouTuber, something I like to watch from time to time. Very, very good, very animated. I actually loved his commentary on the events, and I would recommend you guys check it out as well. He's very, very good, and I consider him to be one of the good ones. Who does that? He is very short to the point, and I wish I can do what he does with the videos under 10 minutes or less. With that being said, there was an issue about it. He explained the issue, and he explained that a lot of the videos, including those who are popular YouTubers, has been having their monetization taken away from them because it didn't fall on a policy which, by further investigation, been around for a lot of while, and just now we're being informed about it. And this has been something that a lot of YouTubers I've started to see, including the Young Turks, who also got hit by this. has started to see an effect. So it's not the smaller YouTubers; it's pretty much everyone. Doesn't matter how big or small you are. Everyone's getting hit about this, and it really has to do with being advertisement friendly. And I'll get to that as well. But it led to a lot of videos being made. A lot of the videos that from I Hate Everything to H3. So there's been a lot of people who has been making videos about this, including Boogie. I think 198. I believe that's his name. I just call him Boogie. I don't when it comes to numbers, I try not to remember. I know whom by it is. He's very very good. He does a lot of vlogs, which I actually do enjoy a lot more than his other sticks that over the years. But I really do love his vlog, his honesty, and I'm seeing what has been going on here. And the first thing I noticed when this has been coming on, and is that a lot of people are saying it's censorship. YouTube is trying to censor them. 1010 Wins, and yes, 1010 Wins, a New York news station, have reported on this and mentioned Will DeFranco's name. When I heard that, I said, okay, this is serious. And I just gotta, start doing vlogging a little early. I gotta start doing the Entertainment Roundup early because 1010 Win is talking about this, and if 1010 Win is talking about this, things is getting really crazy. Uh, and they was explaining about the protests and how some of the advertisers is making protests against it because they don't like it and everything else. So I knew things were hitting the fan, and I mentioned this to Josh again. I said they was listening. Probably YouTube's listening to the wrong people instead of listening to the people who make YouTube what it is today. And we had a very good conversation through text back and forth. But at the same time, I'm keeping in the back of my head that I haven't been on YouTube for a while. I haven't posted anything for a while. So I really don't know what's going on. I really don't know what's their stance on it. And I wanted to be very clear. I said, is this just monetization or just across the board? And that's the thing I wanted to be very, very careful of. So I wanted to do my homework. I went and and did some search engines on this report. I wanted to know more about the situation because I don't want to come on here and basically make a rant video or a rant audio and just dedicate this podcast on just trashing one side. I wanted to respectfully hear two sides of the story. I wanted to see the rules that they had made, and I saw the rules, and I saw what it says. And yes, there are some issues that I have with it, but I still wanted to give both sides a chance to at least explain the situation. And that way it may be more clearer and more broader because you can hear it from one side, but you don't really hear the full story. And keep in mind, you're going to have people who are going to say, "Oh, it's sensitive at its worst," but I'm also wanted to know where it's really coming from, and that's the thing I wanted to make sure more than anything else. I could have easily, after hearing this news that Joshua told me, make a 10-minute rant video about how YouTube has done it again. They're basically shortchanging their content providers by doing this. But at the same time, I have to ask myself, what's the motivation behind it? What's really going on? I didn't want to go in there blind and stupid, not seeing both sides of the story because I could easily done that, but it wouldn't solve anything. I wanted to hear out every avenue possible, and I heard Will DeFranco. I even heard his update video. I heard a lot of people's update videos. I even heard the Young Turks, which I brought up some good insight on some things. But I wanted to hear everyone's take on it. Those especially who've been affected by it, and those who will be affected by it, because it is going to affect everybody. I got affected by it. I don't even monetize my videos, which is kind of funny. I went on today, which is pretty much the first weekend of September. I went on YouTube and I decided just out of fun of it, let me see how many videos that is deemed not monetized. And I strolled down and I said, wow, that's everything. So yeah, it's kind of funny to me considering I don't monetize anyway, and I made a decision not to monetize it a long time ago when I made the third channel because of the same reason I'm seeing right here. But I'm like, you're telling me every video that I made over the years even though it falls under fair use, even though it's nothing really sensitive about it. You're telling me my flashback reviews, you're telling me the entertainment roundup, which I have made as a source of opinionated entertainment. You're telling me all those falls under the guidelines that you're saying. You're telling me that they really want you telling me that the advertisers are that sensitive to the stuff I'm saying, even though it's not rated R or sexually explicit or even politically charged. You're telling me they're upset by what I got an opinion on? That every video that I made over the past 4 years on my old channel cannot be monetized, even though I never made an attempt to monetize my channels? In many ways, I'm kind of glad because that actually will stop those who try to claim that I, had a copyright claim on my stuff saying that I violated the term of use and I stole the item, which is not true. Now they can't get paid, so it works a two-edged sword. At least you hope it does. But I kind of find it hilarious when I scroll down every video that I made. I made close on the 800, so I just scrolled down and said there's not one video that I can monetize, and that's due to the fact that I got an opinion. Not because I curse, because those who follow me, those who have followed me for years, know that I don't use swear words. I may be politically charged, yes, but then again, that's just my opinion. And like I said for many times, it's an opinion. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to agree with everything I have to say. In fact, I encourage you to give me your opinion on the matter that I speak of. It'd be fun. We can share the information. That's what the comment section are for. And even if you think I'm a knucklehead, that's fine. Put it in the comment section. I'm not gonna censor you. That's the beauty of freedom of speech. All right. There's a pros and a cons for everything. But I find it hilarious that every last video that I have made in 4 years have all been deemed unmonetization. I can't monetize every one of them. And I laugh when I see it. I said, I can get mad, but for what? I made an oath and I made it my business to tell everybody. I'll say this again because I think it's very crystal clear what's happening here. And as crazy as this may sound, I know a lot of people may not agree with what I have to say, but then again, this is my opinion. And again, you don't have to agree with me. But I'm not at all shocked, surprised, and I can't, in all fairness, blame Google for the recent events that is happening on YouTube. I can't. Because it's very clear who's the real enemy here, or if you want to call it, or who the real problem here that YouTube is facing here. It's the advertisers. And there is a bias towards what they're doing. There is a sense of we need to control what's going on at all costs, which is ridiculous. And there is a situation where they're forcing Google's hand to make a very broad system that they should know by now is not going to work. And it's only going to make people even do two things. Either A, shut down their channel and go somewhere else. Or B, just basically protest the whole system and not only not put advertising, but make sure they don't endorse anything. And look for other revenue sources. Because you're not going to stop people from having an opinion. You're not going to stop people from cursing out or, have suggested sexual jokes. You're not going to make YouTube PC. It's not going to happen. Nor should it happen. Now, I'm just going to break it down little by little here. I'm going to look at it as a business perspective as to why we can't all point the blame on Google, which is the pallbearer of YouTube. Google is looking at this from a business perspective. YouTube needs to make money. And one of their primary sources to make money is the commercials that are being played on our videos. One of the reasons why we have monetization to begin with is that it gives us a percentage of the videos by, I believe, the count of videos, the viewership of videos that is being done on your channel. That's fine. But keep in mind, they do have a term of service. And one of those term of services, which is pretty much in broad daylight, they can change the condition of the service at any given notice. They can change how how monetization works. They're in their right, and that's fine. I can understand that. We have no control over that. And that's the key word here. We have no control on how their monetization program is changed or how it's being done. And this is exactly what has happened. And it has happened for a few months. There's been pressure on you, on Google, to basically say, hey, I don't want my advertising ad on this video. He's too dark, he's too controversial, and we don't want to be affiliated with that, especially if it's politically charged. And in some ways, I can understand that point of the business. They're looking at themselves as we're trying to keep it as clean and PC as possible because, frankly, we want to advertise to the people without ever having to be darn controversial. Because if you all know, when there's a controversial video or when somebody does something that is deemed inappropriate, they look at a lot of the sponsors and say, how come you're still sponsoring this person? Let's keep it real. It's not just in YouTube, but in television, and even when it comes to athletes and endorsements. A perfect example of the swimmer who lied about being robbed by two gunmen who dressed up as police officers. My mission of concern is why did they lie, and the person is lucky he ain't broke up on fellow charges. But if you notice, and all you need to do is go back to some of the news reports. A lot of news reports was more concerned about their endorsement deals. And the reason why is because, one, no one wants to endorse a person who has that type of a certain kind of background in their jacket. If a person is anti-Semitic or has done some stuff that is deemed inappropriate for women, Tiger Woods is another example of that, they will move away because they don't want to be associated with that. They have an image to keep. And right or wrong, that's how they view it. They view it as a business perspective because they know that something like this goes down, there can be pressure from people all over the globe saying you need to drop this guy. He's inappropriate. We don't want you to represent that guy. And you know what? They want to sell a product. They want to represent them in a positive light, and they will do that in the drop of a hat. The same falls with YouTube. We gotta be honest with ourselves here. As content providers, there's a lot of guys out there who are controversial, who do start drama, which has devastated results over the past few years. And there are even people who bring this up as YouTube has a problem. Too much drama in YouTube. And I look at these videos and you know who they are. I don't need to mention names. But these kind of issues, guess what? Not only Google is looking at this and taking all the complaints in consideration, but the advertisers. A lot of advertisers feel that, hey, if this guy is saying something or doing something in a way that's deemed inappropriate, I don't want my advertisers on there. How can I promote Johnson & Johnson or baby powder or something that's aimed towards children when you got a guy up there, shaking his rump wearing girls' panties for 4 minutes on a 4-minute, 5-minute video, yet you're showing something that's supposed to be deemed appropriate for children? There's a guy up there. How will you feel if there's a guy talking about anti-gay Semitic stuff and saying all this stuff about gays or about Jewish people or about blacks, and the product that they put on their channel is aimed towards African American or Jewish or the LP or the gays and lesbian community? I'll put it that way. They are looking at every aspect. And that's not just, YouTube. It's pretty much society in general. Remember when that law was passed in North Carolina? They are still reeling from that law. Sponsors been dropping out. Business has been moving out. They lost the All-Star game. That's money lost over a bill they passed that's deemed too inappropriate, and they are just basically saying, we can't associate ourselves with that. We don't agree with that. You're hurting our bottom line, and we cannot deal with our bottom line. And we're not going to move in your state because you have a law that really much doesn't apply to us. The same thing goes with most laws that are passed that is deemed to discriminate. A lot of companies saying to hell with it. We're not going to deal with that. So it is about the bottom line. And this is no different than what Google is facing. Google needs the advertisement. Google needs the money, and they are being put on a lot of pressure from a lot of these advertisers to clean up the act because they don't want to have their product or whatever they're selling to be associated with someone's point of views that is deemed too extreme or too controversial or too out there for them. And in many ways, I can't say I blame them. But there is the other coin, which I'll get to in a moment. But I want you to understand this is a business decision. It has nothing to do with whether or not about your videos. It really has to do more with we have to do what we have to do to keep the ads from fading away. We need the ad revenues. YouTube needs those ad revenues. We gotta keep it real. They have to make money somehow. And I can understand why Google has decided to pull the trigger on this one. What I'm upset about what Google has done is they didn't inform people that they was doing this. What I'm upset about Google has done is they continue to make the same mistake with the situation with these copyright claims and everything else, is that they really don't have a legitimate system. And only a certain select few can contact them about the contact rules and what applies and what don't applies. Yes, they claim they have an appeal situation, but let's be realistic here. They the chances of you getting any kind of feedback from these guys are very, very remote. I'm still waiting for certain videos to be removed because some of the videos on my own. It wasn't even made from third party contact. I made a video music from my own computer using a program which I pay for, and for some odd reason, they claiming that I have a copyright claim. Copyright claim to what? It's mine. I don't even know who this company is that's making this claim. Not that it really matters, they're not getting any money, but it's my music. What the hell are you talking about? That's my music that I'm playing, not yours. I made that out of my own computer. It was something I did out of the fly. Do with the Mad Express. You want to use it, go right ahead. But for some odd reason, somebody claimed it. I'm still waiting for them to fix it. I haven't heard anything back from them yet. So them saying being transparent about it and at least try to make a situation where it's under review, I seriously doubt it. You couldn't fix the situation here, and it took people getting angry to respond to certain people's complaints. And the fact that you didn't feel the need to tell anyone really shows us how shady, or in that case, how narrow-minded you are with your programs. Listen, I understand that's monetization. You have the right to do that. I'm not going to sit there and say that you don't. And I think everyone who is a content provider, whether you monetize a video or not, needs to understand this. Which pretty much strengthen what I've been saying, what a lot of other people are saying. Don't rely on YouTube as your main source of income. Because when a push comes to shove, they're not going to come to bat for you. Not in the ways you think. Now, to William DeFranco credit, he did have the people. He obviously got the resources to contact YouTube, even to reach out to YouTube. I would have think that YouTube would make a video or something, but they just change their policies, throw stuff out there, and they don't really make it very clear on what the policies is. 2, is too damn broad. And 3, you got to YouTube. I hope they understand something, that the stuff you're saying, a good 2/3 of it is one of your top YouTube providers. Amazing Atheist, William DeFranco, they cover stuff that is sensitive. So you tell me they're going to lose money because they cover something that's sensitive? They've been doing that for years. The Amazing Atheist, as controversial he has been, the reason why he's popular, because he is controversial, he is dark, he is a person who brings out some stuff that people actually do enjoy. Yes, he has his detractors. I was one of them, but I always respect the fact that at least he brings out a lot of topics where you can either agree or disagree. So now he can't monetize his videos because of an opinion. He can't make a living over his videos because you decided that it's best to basically, shun him for having a bad opinion. And the thing about no cursing, everything else, be clean. Are you gonna tell me you're gonna tell Epic Rap Battle History, one of your top money makers on YouTube, to the point where you actually promoted them in New York or had posters about them? That's how successful the Epic Rap Battle is. You're gonna tell those two guys who have done nothing but provide quality content for you for the last 5 years. Now they need to clean up their act. Otherwise, they're not going to be able to get any type of sponsorship or any type of monetization money from their videos. You're really going to do that? Which brings another situation, which is the bias system itself. Because here's the thing, I seriously doubt that YouTube is going to it's going to demonetize Epic Rap Battle History. And if they do, I guarantee you, within a matter of seconds, not days, not weeks, seconds, they're going to be remonetized as if nothing ever happened. And that's largely because they do have a large audience. They do have the resource and the lawyers to actually fight these claims. And like I said, these guys have the power and ability to not only go directly towards YouTube themselves, but they got maker studios who can represent them as well. As a result of this, you're not going to be very hesitant to waste your time and not give them their monetization back. However, that's a big channel. What about the ones that's not so big? What about the ones that do have good viewers, but not to the extent that Epic Rap Battle have gotten, or William Johnson has gotten, or any of these big known channels like the Young Turks and everything else have gotten? What about them? What about those people? I guarantee you, you're not gonna hesitate to respond to them immediately. It may take months, it may take weeks, months, but I guarantee you, or in many cases like me, it may never come to fruition. They may be still waiting. So this is the situation, a biased broad situation that we have. And this is the problem that YouTube is in right now. Because they're allowing an entity, a system that, let's be honest, is biased and broken for the last few years to dictate how they should make their policies. And that's a problem. That's the real problem here. They're allowing people who really don't care for YouTube to begin with to dictate how their policy should be done. And it's a very bad policy because, number one, is a policy that you will probably find in 1955. Let's be realistic. It's not more as Google, it's more of the people behind the mass media who simply doesn't want the change. This is where it's coming from. They want us to adapt to their system. They don't want to adapt to the new wave that is social media entertainment. They don't want to adapt to that. And as much as we argue and fuss about, that's where it's coming from. We can get mad at Google all we want. We can scream at Google. We can curse Google out. We can make rant videos. But that's where it's coming from. Hollywood, the guys who does the advertisements, even Congress to an extent, they simply don't understand social media network. And after the years of research I've done, especially these last 8 months between the moving and going to the library, searching for the internet and how it works, it's very clear why. They're very behind on the times. They really don't know what the internet, how the internet works. Half of these people don't even know what the internet means. And they have this weird, dumb idea that the internet is a kid-friendly place. And to me personally, it's not. If that's what the case is, and that's what some of these things people are looking at, we need to make it friendly. Let me explain this. And this is more for the advertisers. Where were you guys the last 5, 6, 7 years? Have you forgotten what YouTube is? The reason why YouTube is popular is where people can express it themselves, bring up new ideas, share these ideas with others. There are some idiots out there who take advantage of this, who abuse the system. I'm not going to sit there and say they shouldn't be dealt with. If there's something that is deemed illegal, especially as a danger, not only towards themselves but to others with their video content, and it's going to cause a problem where it can cause serious harm to others, then yes, YouTube has to take drastic measures, and yes, the feds or any local officers in that state or in the country should take immediate actions, which, by the way, has been the case in many scenarios. It's not like the feds don't watch videos or watch what's going on or look for key components. It's not like the feds have asked YouTube to take this video down. And for the record, they haven't been taken. Some of these videos still up there and existing because the law or the judge agreed with YouTube, saying that, hey, it is what it is. It's freedom of expression. Can't do anything about it. But this is something that the advertisers should already know. This is not something new. We've been around for a long, long time. And you posted videos on some of these controversial channels for a long, long time. You know, it's like now this is the time you want to strike and say, hey, I don't want my product on this video because it's too dark and it's too extreme for me. When in reality, this person's been around for years and he's not changed his platform for years, and he's not going to change even if you don't want his product to be done. Have you guys really fell asleep on the wheel how YouTube actually is and what platform YouTube is? And I don't want to hear from any activists telling me we're trying to make it safe for kids. Kids should not be allowed on YouTube. That's just my opinion, but kids should be allowed from YouTube. I know YouTube had a policy, and I read it, that nobody under the age of 13 should be allowed to have a channel, but let's be realistic. I've seen kids who are 7-year-old have channels. Some of the most popular YouTubers that has happened, who, God bless her, passed away of cancer, had a YouTube channel. I watched a couple of videos and how she went through struggles, but these were kids that are out there who's done it. But notice the difference here between her. She had a supervision on her parents. They supervised what was being said on that comment section, and you can hear them in the background, talking to the daughter, making sure everything was going clean. They was doing their job, and as long as their parents being mindful of that, knowing what their kids are getting into, knowing the fact they're going to be idiots who's going to probably thumbs down on video and say stupid stuff, as long as they are monitoring, which they are in the right to do so, as long as they monitor the comment section, as long as there's no bullying going on that they see, and they see it and they can monitor it and can remove it, which is in their right to do, then fine. But in my own personal opinion, kids should not be allowed on YouTube regardless. As in many social networking. And parents who complain about their kids' safety, they want to be, they want to make it where kids are safer and more, so that way they won't have to worry about, predators or any kind. I got news for you. The only way you're going to stop that from really happening, really truly, is you don't put your kids on these social network sites, at least at a certain age. And if you're going to let these kids prowl around the social media network, whether it's video social network or places like Facebook, MySpace, or whatever, you better damn well be monitoring what they're doing. You better damn well know who they're talking to. Because a lot of stuff could be prevented if you do parenting and set rules and guidelines of what they can and cannot do online. But regardless of that situation, YouTube will never be censored by these people, no matter how much they try. And first of all, it doesn't work. For one reason. This is not 1955, and say this for one purpose: is that model that they're doing is still reflected of a model that has been implemented in 1955. We want clean, wholesome entertainment. I got news for you. It didn't work with free TV now, doesn't it? Because many people get mostly entertainment not through free TV, but through video streaming and through cable. And a lot of programs on cable, even those are not considered HBO, like A&E, a lot of them are geared towards adult content. They got curses, sexuality, everything. And guess what? You're not trying to censor them. You're still showing your commercials there. Some are even kid friendly. Kid friendly commercials like, Dove and all the other stuff, toothpaste. You're still going to place them there. You're not going to censor them. So why would you try and censor YouTube? A massive thing that really bothers me about this. Some of these places, and you know who they are. Kraft, Crest. They don't feel comfortable with that yet. You don't seem to have a problem sponsoring your advertisement, your commercial advertisement, towards people like Rush Limbaugh, Opie and Anthony, Howard Stern, shock jocks who have their own opinion, who swears, who have a tendency to go a little sexual with their shows. Rush Limbaugh is a political right winger who has got a lot of viewers, who has listened. And yeah, he did lost some sponsors over the year, but he also gained a lot of other sponsors. Same thing goes with a lot of other controversial political giants out there, and they're shock jocks. They sell their opinions. You don't have to agree with them. You don't have to watch them. But I seriously doubt that all these guys who are complaining about we won't want our brand to be listed on that video, when reality is these same guys who are complaining about this probably have their commercials or their advertisements on the various shows that I have mentioned. This is where the bias comes in. This is where I have a problem and an issue with what these advertisers are doing. It's only this group of people you want to do it, this group of people. And look, I understand that you don't want to be associated with political things. I understand that's a hot topic issue. But other stuff that you guys deem that you want to be friendly, come on now. You need to get with the times. You need to look at your audience. And most important, you need to look at the past when people try to censor or try to control what is being said within the radio waves, within television. It doesn't work anymore. Free TV has been ruined because the FCC basically wouldn't budge on some of the very strict, harsh policies, resulting in many of the good shows who probably would have shown up on free TV end up being on places like TNA, USA, and other shows, the networks. The greatest shows are no longer on free TV. One of the big changes that is a sign that the FCC is finally realizing this is when Hannibal was shown. Hannibal, which really is a made-for-cable show, on free TV. It was expensive, and that's the reason why it's not on the air anymore. But it was a very, very serious breakthrough. But if you look at free TV, it's really nothing there. And let's be honest, the FCC can't be too concerned because the shows that you think the FCC will get on, they're not really pushing. Maury Purvis, some of these other talk shows that really have nothing to offer but pretty much make people look bad. So there's a very inconsistency there. The FCC is trying to monitor and control what's being said on the radio. They want to make it as friendly as possible. They don't want kids to listen to anything that's vulgar. Okay, fine. But guess what it also did? It made birth to a few things. One, it gave birth to satellite radio, which is uncensored. Two, it gave cable providers a chance to give a whole array of listed channels of music for anywhere from jazz to rock to heavy metal to death metal to any kind of metal you kind of want, uncensored, uncommercialized. Where that leave the radio? Where to leave the FM AM radio? In a bad situation. And we have seen slowly but surely how bad AM and FM radio has become. If you're a New Yorker, you got more AM stations on FM dials than you do on their own AM dials. And that's not a coincidence. You want to know why? Because all the FM stations has been shutting down. 98.7 KISS FM is no longer in existence. K-Rock, or majority of the rock and roll stations, are gone. CD 101.9, gone. The viewership has moved away from that tradition, and that's largely because people don't want to be censored anymore. They want to be free to express themselves and have an audience that will listen to their music without the nonsense. There are other means of listening to music raw and uncut through online services. Leaving radio pretty much as a dinosaur of the times. They're barely hanging on right now. There are now advertisements right now pleading to the audience to come back, save the FM radio. And it's kind of ironic because once upon a time, AM FM was in the same position where FM radio is. Why did this pendulum have shifted? But that's not a coincidence. And now you have the commercials doing the same thing with YouTubers. Guys who promote the advertisement. The guys who are doing all this stuff. Do you see why I am bringing this up? They're trying to do what it always fails. And as a result, and the Young Turk said it best. Yeah, you want to play this policy? Be my guest. But all it's going to do is going to let people leave, and the people who you want to do the friendly advertising ain't there anymore. Because they went somewhere else. They either went to Daily Motion, or they went to some other platform that they can actually express themselves, get paid, and not have to worry about the nonsense that Google has done. All because you are trying to control what other people have through your monetization. And I heard a lot of people saying it, that it eventually leads to the close down of their channel. Listen, I want to make this one thing clear to be fair towards Google. They're not censoring you. Not in the way that you think. They're not saying that you cannot post videos that are considered to be politically charged or has curse words. What they're saying is that you cannot monetize it. And if you're a person who is making money off this video, I can understand that affects you deeply. I get it. And look, I know a lot of people saying, well, they shouldn't be making money on YouTube in the first place. You know what? It's too bad. There's a lot of people that are making their money. I got no problem with you making any money. God bless you. But I wouldn't trust, like I said, I wouldn't trust Google, period, in terms of representing the one people they should be representing. And that's the thing that really kills me. That's the thing that kills me. They have caving in to a lot of people who really don't care or understand not just what YouTube works or how Facebook works or how Twitter works. They don't understand that now people are moving towards a new meaning of entertainment. And it's not the traditional entertainment that we have. It is a social media entertainment. We are part of that social media entertainment group. And for some odd reason, they just can't accept it. So they try other means to try and suppress it or try to control it. This is the way of the people in the Hollywood / commercialized area who want nothing more to try and control what they do. You want our money? You gotta do what we say. I don't have to do a damn thing. And neither does any other video content, nor should they. problem is they don't want to change. It's very, for some odd reason, they don't want to change. I know it's saying it's too hard for them. No, it's not. Understand your audience. Understand your fan base. Understand where the pendulum is coming from. Look at the people who's not even on YouTube, but just promote YouTube as a side thing, as a way of, advertise themselves. Double Toast is the perfect example. You think Double Toast honestly need YouTube? They don't. They're doing just fine with SoundCloud and other places of revenue, and they're constantly looking for other ways. Even Corey Coleman said there's no way we can monetize all our videos because we got too much third-party contact. They recognize that. So you really think they're hurting because of what you want them to be clean? They're never going to change their style. It's what made them unique to begin with. Nor should they change their style to meet your needs. You should know what they are from the very beginning. What they are. They haven't been around for years. They've been around since the Spill days. They've been around here. They haven't changed that. They're not going to change that. Nor should they. Same thing goes with Epic Rap Battle. The same thing goes with Amazing Atheist, Undertaker Freak, the Arch Fiend, This Old Fart, Young Turks. You know who these people are. It's not like they just popped out of nowhere. And understand there are some issues that YouTube has to deal with. Bullying has become a problem. I understand it. But also, I feel like this. The control still lies on me. You think I wasn't harassed on YouTube? I've been harassed plenty of times on YouTube. Been called the N-word in the comment section. You know what I do? Just ignore it. What are they going to do? They're going to come out of the channel because I didn't respond to them? After a while, they're going to get tired. And if they continue, the people are going to see through and say, yo, man, enough of this already. You're being an idiot. I don't give bullies the attention. I don't let them get emotionally distraught. I understand it's an issue. And YouTube drama is an issue. I admit that. And there are some people, honestly, that need to really think about what they're doing and the cause and effects of what they're doing and how it sets precedents for this nonsense to happen. Because we can always put the blame on Google, but part of this is also ourselves. When people go and make videos about someone who may have committed a crime that they don't have no proof on, and that resulted in people going to other people's channels, harassing them, only to find out that hasn't happened. To people slandering and bashing race or gender or everything else, that sets a lot of precedents for this nonsense to happen. And we need to be mindful that, hey, we gotta be careful. I'm not saying, you're entitled to your freedom of speech, whatever you want, but sometimes it comes at a price. And we need to recognize that. And we need to recognize that mostly people, this is where this non-garbage has come from, and this is where these advertisers are seeing. This guy just accused this guy of a bad claim. Why in the hell are we having now videos posted on this? Oh, this guy have caused this guy a retarded fool. Why do I want to be associated with that? So these are the problems that are surfacing. And these are issues that deserve to be talked about. And should be talked about. Not just in Google, not just with the advertisers, but in every community. Everyone should just get together and talk about what's going on. My problem is very simple. You're not going to tell people to play nice. You're not. I think the advertiser and Google needs to realize that, hey, this is a failed attempt. You're not going to get people to all of a sudden stop cursing. You're not going to get people to stop acting like a fool or make sexually suggestive jokes. They're not going to stop. And to be freaking honest with you, I don't think they should. The power still lies in me. The power still lies in me as not just a content provider, but as a viewer. If I was going to stop something, you pretty much know it would be because of my choice. Plain and simple. Not because what Google wants or because what the advertisement wants. It's because what I want to do. I want to do a different direction. And if I don't want to change and I felt that the audience felt that I'm being too vulgar or something else or whatever reason, the audience who's watching this video right now has every right to do something that I think everyone is a no-brainer for them to do. Click me off. Go to somewhere else. Watch something that's more being appropriate to you. I've done it. I watched this guy. I watched some people's videos and I felt, okay, this guy is a little bit out there. I don't agree with him from the stuff. Now I just click on something else. But notice, that was my decision. Alright? I choose to move away from that. Decision lied with me. Just like those people who choose to watch a video that's out there, that's on them. But the idea you want to let people fall to a cleaner, safer, more fun video, never going to happen. Especially when it interferes with creativity. Which is basically what it's going to do. Your rules are too broad, Google. It is going to have a problem. And by you making a system like this, it's your appeal system, I don't have faith in it. I just don't. To me, I think you made a big mistake by that. But at the same time, I get it. I understand it. I understand where the pressure's coming from. I'm not blind by the simple fact that there are people whispering in your ear saying you need to clean this stuff up. And these are the people that you need the money to flow. But at the same time, I think these advertisers need to stop being such hypocrites and realize we had been here for a long time. That's not going to change. And no matter what sensitivity, it's going to come to the point where you're going to sensitize almost everybody. And you know what? You're not going to win because they're not going to put any advertisement on your videos. Which Willard Franco have done. He didn't put any advertisement on his video. He didn't care for it. Why? Because even some of his people are protesting it. And guess what? He's doing just like most people I've been noticing doing lately, and every right to so because they're getting sponsored by them. Review Tech USA has been doing it. Grade A Under have been doing it. Boogie 198, I believe, had done it from time to time. And even Willard Franco have done it in his last video. They got people sponsoring them, and they are promoting their stuff. They know what they're getting into. They know what Grade A Undertake is. They know what Review Tech is. Review Tech USA is. And guess what? They don't care about it. To them, that's good stuff. Okay, you guys are video game related. You tell the news. We like that. You got a lot of viewers. We want to sponsor the show. All you have to do is promote this item, and that's good. And they do that. And that's in their right to do it. That's their sponsors. Grade A Underrated done it as well. He's done it a lot more. That's more revenue for them. So, here's the thing. If they're so controversial like you claim they are, then these sponsors shouldn't be doing it. Yet they shouldn't be sponsoring them. These advertisements shouldn't be nowhere near them. They're there because they know that's where the fan base is. And I think it's time that you start looking at that and just simply saying, we want everybody to clean up their act. Otherwise, we don't want our advertising to be done there. I don't think most of them care. Even Amazing Atheist has his own team who sponsors him. As controversial he was. And is still. It's not like he doesn't have it. He does his own thing. He promotes his own t-shirts and everything else. And he has sponsors who sponsor his show. So I got news for you. You don't want your advertisement? That's fine. But I guarantee you, some of those guys will find a way. And guess what? They are. So all you're doing is basically saying, hey, we got Patreon, we're alright. We got SoundCloud, we're good. And for some cases, we'll just take our stuff and go to Dailymotion and just use your guys as a 13-second promotion to sponsor something on another site. Which some of them have been doing. Doc Walker, I believe he has Patreon, but I also know he has a site he works business with. And it pays them a certain amount of money, so it's one of those things. It's not their primary thing. And I'm kind of curious what happens when the viewership gets less and less to the point nobody's watching these videos because of the censorship that you're trying to force, which is not really much of a censorship because again, there you go saying you're not going to do this. This is the policy. You're just simply saying you can't monetize it. Well, guess what? That's almost 95.9% of your videos, and now not just basically sensitive materials. I gotta worry. I'm not too sure she has any advertisement on a video. I never seen one. But Positive Rider 08, I know she goes by a new name. It's difficult. I do apologize if you're looking at this positive. But you're telling me you want to censor her because she talk about God and she talk about Christian views, which she does a great job in. She should suffer because of that. Come on now. Let's be realistic here. I understand clearly that there are some viewers that you don't want to be associated with. But to tell Google to say all of them, you need to clean up your act and they need to be more friendly or else, is it going to help, man? If anything else, it's going to let some people find out who these sponsors are, who these guys advertising, and basically put them on blast. And now you got a situation where you got new generation of video makers and people who watch their videos angry at you, and probably won't buy your product anyway because you're trying to censor them. And in case you're wondering, many people don't like when you're trying to censor them or try to control them. Well, you think the SOPA, PIPA, and every other rule has been coming out has been dropped down because it's too one-sided. Instead of trying to force a policy that doesn't work, look at the business model of a lot of YouTube providers or what YouTube is and see if you can adapt it towards the content that's being shown. It's not that hard. And eventually, sooner rather than later, you're going to have to change the new policy because the way people get the information, the way people find entertainment has changed. It changed completely. And they're all saying you're either going to change or you're going to fall behind to the point of no return. And as far as Google concerned, the only thing I really am upset about with Google is that they have done a poor job and continue to show a poor job of notifying people of certain changes, giving people heads up, or basically demonetizing their videos 6 months ago and not telling nobody and just now been doing it. Doing a very poor job of having a representative actually make a video or actually, informing people of the changes through emails and everything else. It is a very, very pitiful way of customer service. And customer service to me, I don't care if this is a network. I understand this is their platform. This is their baby. I get it. But you know what? I'm still a subscriber to this platform. And I still feel that customer service, regardless of what type of platform it is, whether it's paid or unpaid, should be a vital key. But here's the thing I think YouTube needs to realize. There are great content providers here who want to help YouTube grow. They want to help YouTube become a big entity, a big playing force within the social media world for years to come. They wanted to make it work. They wanted to work with YouTube. They wanted to make YouTube better together. They're not saying that there are no concerns on YouTube. There's plenty of concerns about that. And I'm pretty sure that you'd be surprised of how much in common these concerns are versus the YouTube model and even some of the advertisements who see an issue that's going on in our video sharing site. Because there are issues. I'm not going to sit there and say it's not. But it has to be done the right way. It has to be done in a way that is not going to hinder people's growth. It has to be done in a way that there is a unity, not just within the YouTube community, but within Google administration staff themselves. It shouldn't have to take 10-10 wins for them to give a response to Will DeFranco, Phil DeFranco, as well as an issue where a bunch of people is prowling over uh, YouTube's doorstep for them to actually change their policies because people are now putting pressure on them. It shouldn't have to go that far. It shouldn't be just one-sided. There should be issues, yes, but it should be done together as a collective unit instead of just Google just throwing out something and praying that this works. And then have a very snotty attitude of not trying to explain or just basically trying to hide around a computer who's doing their work for them. If they continue to do this, and I guarantee you, it's going to happen eventually. It may not happen now, it may not happen 5 years old, but it's going to happen. Something new is going to come up. It's going to be 10 times better than YouTube. I don't care how many viewership you may think you have now, that will completely reduce to rubble as the years go down. There are people who want to make YouTube great. You got great content providers who have done nothing but give you the best of what they got to offer and then some. Don't throw that away. Don't turn your back on these people. Like I said it plenty of times. This should not be the number one source of revenue. But I understand people make their money on it, and God bless them. They got the talent, they got the gift, why not? They're giving something that people want, God bless you, go for it. Don't turn your back on these people. Because as much as you want and hate to admit it, you need them just as much as they need you. You need Epic Rap Battle History. If you didn't, you wouldn't be promoting them left and right in New York. You need the Amazing Atheist. You need that diversity. You even need that controversy. And if something that's very serious that needs to be dealt with, we deal with it. But deal with it the right way. With the right policies. And get the right feedback from the people who do care for this site. Who do want to see this site grow and become better. If there's a problem with, with the way that things are sensitive, maybe, as a suggestion, we should have what Blimp actually had. Have a rating system. We do have one, but it's too broad, age restricted. What did I mean? Have a rating system. Should be no reason why it is. Go ahead. If that's the issue, have a rating system. Have a show that's PG or G or M. At least the advertisers have an idea of what they're putting their stuff in. And that way it wouldn't be that much because they already know, oh, this is for adult content. This is rated this for political views. If a rating system is the way to go, and I'm not saying this is going to solve all the problems, but maybe it will curb all the issues that the advertisers have with certain channels. Maybe it's time that we do that. And for the record, for those who are saying, oh, you don't want a rating system, Blimp TV had this policy before. They had it until they went out of business completely. Where they actually recommend every person who's done a content provider in their site to come up with a system. If they didn't and they found something that's too sexually explicit, they'll shut you down. And it was known. Those who are considered more friendly don't have to worry about it. But if it's something that is deemed for more mature audiences, make the rating system. And if they follow that, and as long as they keep their rating system, they won't mess with it. I have no problem with that. I don't think YouTube providers will have a problem with that. And if you want to make strict guidelines with that, then make it strict guidelines in terms of what can and cannot be done. I personally Some of the guidelines they have has been in existence since day one, since I came here. Are there still some kinks to the road that needs to be dealt with? Of course. But there are still guidelines that has been done here. It's not like this is some old thing on certain guidelines. You're just making it more restricted now in terms of monetization. But to throw something out there and don't expect the backlash to happen, I think Google is. I don't know what Google's thinking. But again, I do understand where it's coming from. And that's my opinion on the matter. This is an hour and 5 minute video. Going to be going on an hour and 6 minutes. I'm not going to go any further than that. Again, I felt the need to talk about this without as much rambling as I can. But I felt this was a necessary video. And again, guys, seriously, I'm going to keep repeating this till the cows come home. Don't rely on YouTube as your main source. I mean, if you want to make money on YouTube, God bless you, fine. But try to find an avenue that doesn't require the YouTube economy. Because again, and this is something that has been stressed, and I heed the words of Fear of the Film fan to this day because he's so right. You know, if you can, build your own website. Make sure there's a video system that you can put on your own stuff. Take it from there. If you can't, understandable, but find a different way of creating revenue. Don't just rely on that. Because we're seeing what has happened. Like I said before, every last of my videos is demonetization. I laugh because again, I do this as a hobby. I don't do this for money. When I start putting my original content on my third channel, I'm not going to use YouTube as my major source. I'm using something else. And most likely it's going to be Dailymotion. And most likely it's going to be Springboard. But it will damn sure won't be YouTube. Because YouTube can't be trusted in terms of making a decision that is best suited for me. They're going to do what's best suited for them. And you know what? So be it. I'm stopped arguing with YouTube policies for many years now. They made it very clear they're going to do what's best for them. I just wish they would do it that will not hurt the people who actually is trying their best to provide legitimate contact for them. Because this is going to hurt a lot of people. It already has. And that's my feeling on it. And that's what I'm going to feel, and that's what I'm going to say about it. Guys, you have your own opinion. I love to hear your own opinion on this topic. And I'm going to keep an eye on updates. I'm going to keep an eye on what's going on because you know this ain't going to end. Again, YouTube has been put in the media and not in a good way. And to me, Phil DeFranco, I give the man a lot of credit for what he has done and what he is saying. And he's right. The broadness of the situation is too broad. They basically did this as an attempt to try and keep sponsors and advertisers from leaving their thing. Urkel, Clark Urkel from Young Turks have mentioned this, and also has mentioned this in their situation, how they was affected and why, and what's happening there. And I agree with what they're saying about the model that a lot of these advertisers are going for, and it's a biased model, no question about that. There's a lot of people who basically is you just putting the blame on YouTube itself. I'm not gonna put that. I'm not gonna do that because again, there's a lot of sides in the story. YouTube can't plate the bluntness of the situation. A lot has have to be spread around, and also has to be spread around for us as YouTube providers because now we're seeing this huge backlash about this. And look, if you're gonna spread whatever message you're gonna have, you're welcome to it. But understand, we're holding precedence for a lot of this nonsense that's happening. So just be a little bit mindful of that. Which is why I feel the only way that's going to solve this is actually two ways. And one of them so far I haven't heard anything new about it, and that is an amendment to legitimate policy from the lawmakers and what we can and cannot do that will coexist and update the copyright policy so that way it can be more clear what how it falls to the internet. I have not seen that happening. If anything, I've seen Congress trying to find ways to favor more of the big businesses than the YouTube providers, and that is something that is one of the reasons why we may not see something that will help protect us as well as protecting the businesses from these so-called copyright claims they keep saying. But it's always been one-sided, and this is something that's always been a problem. It's one-sided. So again, this is just my opinion on it. I really do feel that it's time that everybody comes together and say, look, we got to have something because we can't keep continuing fighting this. We're getting nowhere here. We're getting nowhere. But that's my opinion. What's yours? From J77, this is me signing off. And for those who are watching, whether it's from the Mirrorstone Publishing channel, from my old channel here at Entertainment Roundup, or as the What's News channel, I'm on my political channel. Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to your feedback. And also, if you feel free, you want to spread the word, be my guest. One more thing, I want to make this very clear. I don't know if people have noticed, know yet. I know they sent a note out there. YouTube has done that, but there's going to be a change in the Hangout. Hangout on air, or as well as Hangout period, will be back on YouTube on September 12th. I thought it was actually on September 2nd, but it's actually September 12th. I don't know how the variety is going to happen. I don't know if they're going to have the same format. Personally, I didn't think they should have moved it in the first place. I think one of the best things YouTube has done was give us a hangout that we can use and call directly from yourself, from someone's cell phone, to basically doing live streaming podcasts. It to me didn't make any sense. I tried their beta system, but it requires me to upload a program I did not feel comfortable with, and it still had complication of how the hell that works. So to me, they should have just kept the Hangout where at YouTube it made sense to be on YouTube. For odd reason, they put it on Google Plus, which made no sense to me. I think this was their last ditch effort to actually save Google Plus, because I think they are changing Google Plus again. I know they've been trying that new system, and to me, I don't really do much with Google Plus anyway. So if they're keeping the platform, but just switching it back on YouTube, that can only be a positive, not a negative, because I don't have to go to Google Plus just to actually use Google Hangout. So that's always a positive. Plus, they're all connected to my channels anyway, so it makes better sense that they just keep it as Google. Besides, it coincides with YouTube anyway, so it just makes sense. But it's September 12th, so right at September 12th, you might want to check it out and see if there's any major changes, so that way you have a heads up. I'm gonna have to do it because number one, J&J returns in late October, so I got to see what changes they have. Keep in mind, it took me a while to understand that the change. So hopefully it's not too severe. But that's basically what I want to say. So that's it, guys. Kept you there long enough. For those who thought it was too long, just edit it through. I'll try and get a shorter version of some of my major details. Can't guarantee it's gonna come out right away, but I will try. At least if anything else, to shorten some of the most important things that have been said. But until next time, guys, Jason 17, take care, be safe, and I'll talk to you soon. Later.